What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Jobbers and Goons, and in my time covering content on this channel, which has mostly been power scaling, tell you how tough some are, sometimes Goon series, things like that, for the longest time, I struggled with a very obvious aspect as a power scaler, which I will make a video on, which is pretty much my least favorite part of power scaling, which is everybody only acts like it's cool if they're super strong or a broken character. Hate people like that. Think it ruins the game, and it's just annoying. Now, luckily for me, pretty much my favorite character of all time, one I've read for years, is finally mainstream. Finally getting a bunch of love and attention. So today we're going to talk about the biggest Chad in fiction and why he's my GOAT. Of course, this is Jack Reacher. Grew up with the novels and loved them. We're going to talk about the character today and also who we should put him against in a versus battle. And before we get into that, smash the like button, run it up. 300 likes would be amazing as well. Like I said, get in the comments. Tell me who we put him against at the end. I'm going to be using novels and TV show for some things. So let me get to what he's capable of and who he is in case you don't know. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. Now, my first experience with Jack Reacher as a character, I was probably 11 or 12, and my grandma, who's a big reader, was telling me about a series I would absolutely love. She said, read Lee Child's Jack Reacher series. That character is as badass as it gets. You'll love a character like that. I said, okay, cool, let me get into it. She got me one of the books. First book I read from him is first one in the series, Killing Floor, which they based season 1 on Prime about, and literally within 50 pages, like, oh my god, this is the GOAT. This is the ultimate bully. Now, who is Jack Reacher? When I say ultimate bully, he bullies the bullies. Now, he's a former military policeman who, in his time serving, he was tasked with hunting down the most dangerous bad guys within the military system of America. Now, the reason this is crazy and why this makes him such a dangerous character is these are the most highly trained men in the world who, for one reason or another, have gone off the rails. And not many individuals can bring in people like that, especially taking them down. But of course, Reacher could. He served several years in the army. He grew up a military brat. And he moved all around the world, and as a young, they kind of touch on it in the show, and I'm going to try not to ruin anything from the shows. I'm mostly going to refer to novel stuff and just why he should be one of your favorite characters. But in the novels, it talked about constantly how much shit he went through as a kid, moving around from country to country due to his dad being in the military. Him and his brother Joe were constantly getting in brawls and defending themselves as the stupid Americans that were seen in a lot of places as invaders. Now, Reacher was always masked, even as a kid, and this allowed him to hang with the best of them, as well as he loved combat. There was one point in the books where it talked about when he was a kid, they ran basically a psyop test on a bunch of children. They took them into the theater, and then they showed them as scary of a scene at random as they could think of, basically a pop-up scene, to see how the kids reacted with their natural fight or flight. So, as they're recording these kids, they see the scenes, and in the footage, all the kids are terrified. They're jumping back, they're hiding, they're covering their faces, they're in shock, they're in alarm, except for one, a big-ass kid in the middle who stood up with his pocket knife. That's right, Jack Reacher has been active since he was young. Like, he does not give a shit. He was pulling up even back then. And it really highlighted a major aspect of his brain and how his mind works, which is that he calls it his lizard brain. When shit's going down, all he knows is swang and bang. All he knows is getting active. That's why he's the GOAT. Like, there is no running for Jack Reacher. That was never an option for him mentally. Like, it's just never been the case. And his brother was 10 toes as well. Rest in peace, Joe Reacher. Literally dies early, but he was just the same way as Reacher. And Reacher operates sort of like your favorite anti-heroes throughout fiction. Whether it's like a Punisher, even a Batman, the vigilante type, where justice with him is not in the court of law. Justice with him is not defined by your rank or status in the world, or who is deciding these things. Rather, his justice is based on what he thinks is right or wrong. If you're robbing an old lady in front of him, it does not matter your status. It does not matter your rank. It does not matter who you are. You are wrong, and he's going to punish you. He feels he has been put on this earth to get back at people that do that. He hates bullies and bullies the bullies. That's how Jack Reacher works. Now, funny story, I was devastated when the movies came out. You guys didn't know Tom Cruise had movies on him. I guess Tom Cruise loves the character and he has enough money to fund it as well as play Reacher himself. The problem with that was Reacher in the novels is about 6'5", between 240 250. He's just a bear of a human being that can bully ball anyone physically. This issue is Tom Cruise is 2 feet tall. I don't care how much he puffs his chest out. I don't care how tough he acts. That man, Tom Cruise, is just not big enough. I think he's actually like 5'6", 5'7". That's not Jack Reacher. Like, no matter how hard you try, that's not Reacher. However, the new actor in the show, he's I think 6'3", 6'4". So he's perfect, and he's massive. So he's perfect to display how physically dominant Reacher. And the reason that's important for Reacher is that's most of his persona. He's always been treated different because he was seen as like a big gorilla type dude. A lot of people assume he's dumb because of his stature and physical dominance, but he's not. He's just happens to be physically gifted. His brother was a big dude as well. And in the show, they do a good job capturing how simple he is with his approach to everything. But what makes him so dangerous? One, he is vastly intelligent. He was one of the smartest people to ever serve. This includes it being to the point that one of his former co-workers goes on to work for the Secret Service and is charged of essentially creating a foolproof plan to keep the president safe. And the one person she thought could find a hole in her system in the world was Jack Reacher. She brings him in the books to figure that shit out. His deduction, his detective skills, and his experience in pretty much every kind of warfare, it makes him a monster to deal with on the battle IQ side. On top of this, he's obsessed with the military, obsessed with training, tactics, and combat. Always was. Tried to study as much martial arts as he could because he believed in taking what works. Not taking what's pretty, taking what's cool, but taking what works and implementing, which means he throws a lot of elbows, headbutts. He's trying to get you out of there real quick. He was also, like I said, tasked with a special investigators unit, which in the books was essentially taking down the most badass men who went rogue throughout the military. This could include SEALs, Delta Force, Rangers. Like, these are high level, some of the most trained men in the world. And Reacher is the one expected to bring them down. Reacher is the one expected to take them down. He's also a world-class marksman. He was, at the time in the books, it takes place pretty much 80s, 90s, and then I think he got discharged in 96, 97. And so his stories after his service take place after that. But he was the first Army guy to win the rifle contest and sidearm contest. He's that good of a marksman. He usually doesn't miss. He's also very practical. Like, he's not going to take stupid shots. He's not going to try to trick shot your ass. He's going to get in position first and take you out. I think he cleared like 8 guys with 1 magazine, 8 or 9, and they had hella weapons. He's just picking them off one by one. He's one of the last people you want to get in a shootout with him. Obviously, his physicality makes him a monster in hand-to-hand combat. In the novels, he crushed someone to death with a literal bear hug. Just crushed them. He has snapped necks with simple strikes, whether punches, elbows, kicks. He has to actually hold back to not just kill people sometimes, because the angles he takes when he hits them, how fast and sudden he hits them, and how powerful he is, it's just too much. Like, he's too strong. He's literally too much of a big boy. Like, he's gonna crush your skull on accident if he hits you too hard. His toughness is also insane. In the military, he got a medal because he was stationed in Beirut, and he was like point blank for an explosion, and someone's jawbone got lodged in his side. I think he still has some of the jawbone in him. He's taken shots over the years, stabs, slashings. You pretty much have to kill Reacher to get him stopped or completely incapacitate him. He's gone up against warlords, like I already mentioned, the people he's taken in the military. He's taken on Delta Force, ex Delta Force before, no problem. In the novels, he was ragdolling the guy, but he did admit, like, if I let him get loose, he's going to be a problem. He's taken on some of the most well-known assassins in the world. He's taken on cults, all different kind of things. Overall, Reacher's an absolute Chad, and I gotta ask, who should we put him up against? Who in fiction should we do a versus battle for Reacher for? I would absolutely love to do that breakdown. I would love to put him against somebody, and I want you guys to decide who in the comment section down below. Is it a Jason Bourne? Is it a John Wick? Is it the Accountant? Equalizer? You let me know. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. It's been your boy Jobbers and Goons, and it felt good to do a video on a character that's truly been on my GOAT list for so long and is finally getting recognition. But anyways, it's your boy Jobbers and Goons. Go watch the Reacher show, and I'll see y'all later. And definitely check out the novels. Peace.